What's up, VC? What's up, vinyl community? It's Dan hanging out with you for Dan's Vinyl Channel. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you had a great weekend. Getting ready to start up the work week again tomorrow. But I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do something that I don't do normally. So you might see like vinyl finds videos, or find some metal records, or find some synth-pop records, or, you know, just general vinyl finds, classic rock, stuff like that. Anyway, what I wanted to do was something just a little different than that, and not do like a contest video or anything like that. Although there are some really cool contests going on right now, like Noble Records, that I think I'm going to have to jump in on. I just did Mazzy's contest. That was a lot of fun, the whack-a-mole. But what I wanted to do was do something, I don't know, something different, and I wanted to talk about synth-pop records. But it's like, I'm kind of doing the video that I wish I had when I first started getting into synth-pop. Because about 5-6 years ago, there was one album that I picked up that got me into synth-pop. And I don't even know if you would want to consider it synth-pop record. But Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair, I consider this just a great album. Tears for Fears were just kind of like Tears for Fears. They really weren't a genre. To me, they were so themselves. It's like, it would be like saying REM is like an alternative band. They're just REM, man. That's just what they are. But I guess technically this could be considered synth pop. But this has kind of started me down the road. And I picked up this record for $3. It was like $2.99. It was in the $2.99 bin. It was in really good shape, and it sounded phenomenal. And I really love the song Shout, and I really love the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which, if you remember, was SNL. You remember Dennis Miller, Weekend Update? That was the theme song for that. So that was on here, and what I ended up finding was that I listened to this record, and I loved the whole thing. I just thought the whole thing sounded great. There's another song on here, Head Over Heels. That was a really, really big song. And there's also a song on here, The Working Hour. It's just, this is a great album, guys. And this is the album that kind of took me in this direction without me realizing it. So that's what you do with vinyl. That's what's cool about vinyl, is that you find things and you get into things that you normally wouldn't get into. Like, I was a straight rock and metal guy. Wasn't really into this kind of synthy, poppy stuff. And honestly, my friends would have all made fun of me at listening to this stuff in the 80s. So I get to finally kind of, you know, bust out and listen to this stuff, you know, with no shame at all. This is my guilty pleasure, and I love every one of these records. And why I wanted to talk about them was because this would be a great place to get started if you're looking at getting into synth pop. Why not? If you want to try it out, you don't have to go out and, you know, you're going to Google these lists and you're going to see albums like this pop up. And this is Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. This is their album, Architecture and Morality. You're going to see this pop up. This album, it's not going to be an album that you can find for $5 or $6. If you do find it for $5 or $6, you better pick it up, and you can flip it and make about, I don't know, $20 or so is what this goes for, in good shape. And so, you know, I mean, you're going to be guaranteed to see some of these albums when you do go Google like top synth pop albums of the 80s or something like that. That's going to pop up on the list, and that's not going to get you into the synth pop. So this is kind of like, you know, Fantano, he did a synth pop starter pack. This is kind of my synth pop starter pack. All right, don't mean to be ripping off Fantano. It's like he's not even going to see this video anyway. So so this is my synth pop starter pack. All albums you can get for $10.99 or under, which is pretty awesome. All right, so first, with no further ado, let's get into them. All right, so number 1, or number 5, I guess, the way I'm going to be doing this, counting down. This would be Soft Cell's Nonstop Erotic Cabaret. This is their debut album from 1981. You can find this one for $8 to $10 normally. Mix of like new wave synth pop is going on here. Definitely not a standard kind of 80s album. Up tempo. You got Mark Almond here. Lush vocals. Very British. He keeps his accent, which I love. He's sometimes flamboyant. I've got written here in my notes, and always confident. It's a perfect mix for this guy, David Ball. His electronic, happy synths. This is a fun album. There was a huge hit on here called Tainted Love, which everybody would probably know, but there's some unknown gems on this record. Side 2, track 1, Entertain Me, and then I want to say side 2, track 2 is a song called Chips on My Shoulder, which are great. But I can't bring this album up without talking about its kind of trashy side. This is, as you see, Mark Allman there on the cover is putting something, and I have no idea what it is, into his pocket. And there's a song on here called Sex Dwarf, which I'm not going to say anything more. That's enough to say. Stream it. Anyway, if you see that album, Soft Cells, Nonstop, Erotic, Cabaret, normally between $5 and $10, I'd pick it up. Be a good starting place. This album, I see this all the time, and I see it for cheap. I see this for $2.99. I see this for $1.99, all the way up to like $5.99. I don't think I've ever seen this album more than $6. I don't think I have. And this is Wang Chung's Points on the Curve. It's a great album. It's their second studio album. It's from 1984. The song Dance Hall Days is on here. It was on the soundtrack to Bachelor Party. I remember that. You know that movie with Tawny Katane, Adrian Zmed, Tom Hanks, little known actor there. So the production quality of this is great. It's through the roof. It's just a well-crafted album. It's catchy. It's a little moody. It's dark, but it's dark in a way that you would imagine like cruising through like Miami with the top down, like listening to this music. It just kind of goes that Miami Vice kind of sound. It's great. Some Eastern sounds going on here. Not quite like Japan's Tin Drum, but on that level somewhat. It's a great album. You get this so cheap. Some great tracks on here. Dance Hall Days, Wait. There's a song in here called Look at Me Now, which kind of reminds me of one of those training montages from an 80s movie. They got like a robot vocoder on that song. And there's a song in here called Even If You Dream of Him. That's a pretty good song too. So, I mean, you're going to do good with Wang Chung's Points on the Curve. Great album. And super cheap, man. You can find that all day for like I'd say $2 to $6, $7. I don't think I've ever seen it over $6. All right, this next album I picked up for $2, $1.99. It was in the secret stash at Planet Score Records. I'd seen this on a bunch of the best synth-pop albums of the 80s. And they didn't lie, guys. The Google people, whoever it was, the blog writers, they knew what they were talking about when they added this album. This is a great album. This is kind of the counterpart to this album that I just shown. Nonstop, Erotic, Cabaret. This is kind of a trashy record too. It's a lot of fun. There's a song in here called Sex, Ima, and then it's ellipses. It's an interesting song. You should check it out. This is a great album. Berlin would later go on to like be like super hit. They had a super hit with Top Gun, Take My Breath Away. It was on that soundtrack. But this is like some sleazy, trashy, fun synth pop. Terry Nunn is the singer here, and this is a great album. There's a lot of moog in it. The production quality is nice and dry. There's a good separation of tracks on this album. It's mixed well. Terry Nunn's vocals come through. They're dry. It's just a good, solid mix. It sounds good today. It sounds like it could have been recorded recently. And there's a lot of great, just moogie, Gary Newman influences coming through, and this kind of trashy synth pop. It's just great. So if you see Berlin's Pleasure Victim, you can normally get this for, I'd say, $2 to $8, $9, $10. $2 to $10. I got this for $1.99. So, in the secret stash. So, great album, Berlin's Pleasure Victim there. All right, this next album, you guys will know at least one song off of it, but don't just don't just discount these guys as a one-hit wonder. This is Aha and their album, Hunting High and Low. Now, why is this a great album? Well, it's got Take On Me on it, which is a great song, which I always loved, Take On Me. You know, being a big metalhead, everybody loves the song Take On Me. It had one of the coolest videos ever, and Weezer actually did a great Take On Me video as well with the kid from Stranger Things. You might want to check that out. And Rivers Cuomo, dude is like 50s and sounds like he's 18 years old. It's amazing. So make sure you check out the Weezer version too of this of Take On Me. But the first 3 tracks on this album are worth the price of admission. You got Take On Me, followed by a song called Train of Thought, followed by the title track of the album, Hunting High and Low. Just a fantastic, fantabulous album that is a must-own, and get this while you can still get it for under $10. I trust me, this one's going to end up going up in price. I can almost guarantee you. There's also another song on here called The Sun Always Shines on TV. Just a great, solid album. Under $10 and tons of fun. Aha's Hunting High and Low. It sounds great. It's going to sound good on your system. You're going to like it. If you're going to like synth-pop, you're going to love this album. All right, so this last one, this is all killer, no filler type album here. And another band that has been put into that one-hit wonder category, and what a shame, A Flock of Seagulls. This album does have Iran on it. It also has a song on here that is called Space Age Love Song. Messages, You Can Run, the entire album. Side 1 will knock you out. Side 2 will knock you out. I mean, this is a great album. It's a great sounding album. There's great guitars. There's great bass. There's great synths. There's great drums. Just a full album, and it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it's something that I put on very often. This is in my constant spins. So this is one that I pull out all the time. Just a fantastic album, A Flock of Seagulls. If you see this for under $10, guys, this album, I was talking with Cosmic Brian. He's like, dude, a lot of these albums that we're picking up now, these new wave and synth pop albums, they're going to be worth a lot of money someday. They're going to be grails. This is probably going to be one of those albums that's going to be worth some money in the future. You never know. I don't know. It seems like $8 for this is cheap. It seems to me. So I think I gave $5 or $6 for this a couple years ago. It's such a great album. A Flock of Seagulls, self-titled record. Now I've got some special mentions that I want to throw out there and talk a little bit about. Just real quick, I'm going to bring up one more album. I'm just going to start buying this one for $5 every time I see it for $5, and I'm going to set it back because this thing is awesome. I'm going to wear this album out. This is another one of my constant pulls, Naked Eyes, self-titled, or Burning Bridges if you're in the UK. Missing Persons, not sure if you want to call this a synth-pop record, but it fits with this stack of records. It sounds good with them. So this is a great new wave synth-pop album. Terry Bozzio, the drummer. Dale Bozzio is the singer. There's some other guys in here. Terry Bozzio was actually the drummer for a guy you might know by the name of, what's his name? He did the Zappa, Frank Zappa. I was going to say he did the Apostrophe album. So yeah, there's a couple of guys that were Zappa's bandmates, or Zappa's band members on here. So yeah, this is a great album. Everybody, it's on point. It sounds great. It doesn't sound like it was made almost 40 years ago, guys. Human League, always see this album for $5 or $6. This seems cheap too. It seems like this should be more money. It's a great album if you dig the Human League, which I do dig the Human League. So that's it, guys. And I hope that, you might have got some information out of this. If you're interested in synth pop, there you go. There's some good, cheap stuff to get you started, and it's stuff that I see often. And these are common records. These are everyman records that you can find, and you can normally find them on the cheap. So anyway, thanks for hanging out this long, guys. You guys take it easy. Keep digging them records. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye.